I wish it was actually one of those days where I could, wear a t-shirt outside, but I literally have a space heater sitting right beside me. This is a lie. I just really like this shirt, okay? Hello everyone, I'm here today to share with you guys some best and worst of new foundations that I've been testing out recently, because I feel like sometimes I just want to sit down and chit chat. I wish I had some coffee here, but I've already had two. So make sure you give this video a thumbs up, make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on new videos every Thursday and Sunday. But without further ado, let's get into this. So I have some high-end, I have some drugstore, and we're just gonna kind of mix it up. We're gonna talk about these products, and I don't know where to start. Let's start with my love, the one that I've been probably talking about the most over the last little while, and that is the Dior Forever Undercover 24-Hour Full Coverage Foundation. This is Dior's most full coverage foundation that they have ever launched. It has water as well as pigment in it, so you do need to shake it up to get the product to kind of mix together, and then when you pour it out, because there's a lot of water in it, it is going to feel super liquidy and you're like, I don't know if this is gonna work on my skin. Especially because it does say that it's supposed to be a matte finish, and typically if you have a really liquidy foundation, they tend to give you more of a dewier or like a medium coverage kind of a finish. But this one, I am telling you, you put a little bit on your face, you blend it in, it feels like nothing is there, and yet full coverage. Everything is gone. You are just one blank Barbie plastic skin. As I said, this is supposed to give a matte finish. I would say it's more of a satin matte, so it doesn't feel very harsh or very dry looking on the skin. I'm not personally a huge fan of matte foundation, so the fact that I like this would tell you something about how matte it actually is. But you can see right here, I'm just gonna shake it up and pour a little bit on my hand so you guys can see. But you see, like, that's kind of the consistency. Once it's shooken up, it's shook. And then you blend it in and like, look, that was way too much. What am I doing? There it is, full coverage. It feels like nothing. It blends down to this nice soft powdery finish. And now my hand, it looks flawless, I gotta say. It's not quite the skin tone I'm looking for, but that's okay. It does have a very like Dior-like scent, that very perfumey scent. It does dissipate once you put it onto your skin, but that was one thing. I put it on, I was like, whoa, feel like a grandma. Does anyone else feel like that when they smell some like Dior products? Smells like your grandma? Is that just me? Is that just my grandma? Does my grandma smell like Dior? Seriously, my hand looks so like weirdly blurred. I don't know why I did that. It's fine. It's fine. It was an experiment. But I do love this foundation. Another high-end matte foundation that I've recently really loved, and it surprised me. Like, I was not expecting to like this. It is the Milk Blur Liquid Foundation. This is a squeeze tube, which I personally like. I like these for travel. I find them really easy to travel with. This has much more of a thicker consistency when compared straight against the Dior one. And I wasn't sure because it was touting how matte it was. I didn't know if it was something that I would really kind of vibe with. But what's interesting about this foundation is it has these like microspheres in it. I did all the research, and they're blurring elements. So they're supposed to reflect light, give the illusion that your skin is very soft, very blurred, very matte, but not too matte. But it gives the skin almost this like filtered effect. And I didn't know how it would work with like fine lines and things like that. But this one, because it has those pore minimizing elements in it, it also blurs the look of fine lines, which is amazing. This is full coverage, it's silicone free, oil free. So for those of you that have very oily skin, you will probably really like this. But also for people that don't necessarily like matte foundations, you might actually like this if you like a more full coverage effect. Because it has those blurring elements in it, I feel like it's got more range than just for people with oily skin. So this one surprised me. I've been using it a lot lately. Really like how it looks on my skin. Next, I want to share with you guys a matte foundation that I wasn't a huge fan of. And I've tested it on my channel, and the first time I tried it, it was fine. It wasn't my favorite. It just, and the more I use it, the more I just realize that it just doesn't work well for me. I know a lot of people love it. It is the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. And I just found that the more that I wore the product, the more I realized that this got everywhere. And like, don't get me wrong, I expect a lot of foundations to transfer. I have small children, but this one transferred more than I was expecting it to. It just got over everything. I found that it really enhanced the pores on my skin, especially in like this general area, and just made them super noticeable. And the smile line, same thing, just super noticeable. The only way I will wear it, because I do want to use up the product, I'll use a damp beauty sponge and I will use a tiny little bit of product. I will spray my face with like a setting spray or a Fix Plus or something like that, and then I will dab that on, and it gives a much softer, sort of a soft focus kind of appearance. It doesn't give as much coverage, obviously, but that's a way that I find looks good, gives that little bit of a satin-like finish to the skin, so it's not so matte, and then it doesn't settle down as much, and not as much is transferring because not as much is on my face. But yeah, not a big fan of it. Next, I want to share some favorites in the sort of glowing category, which is sort of where I tend to live. Until recently, when I realized that half the foundations I use are matte. Who knew, everyone? 2019, year of the matte. But this next one is more of a natural finish, which is what I tend to gravitate towards, and you probably already know what it is. You probably already know. It is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I'm sure you guys have seen so many people are in love with this foundation, and there is a really good reason for it. They describe this foundation as a medium to full coverage foundation. I would say it's definitely more full coverage than medium. This is supposed to last on your skin for 24 hours. I did test it for a full, I think it was 18 hours against a Dior one that is very similar to it, and it held up. Like, it was there to win. It's lightweight without feeling watery. Like, it does have like a good, you know, like a liquid, but it's not watery. I have a lot of foundation on this hand. 100 layer foundation challenge, but you can see like that one pump, like I could probably cover my whole arm with this. This is not my hand shade, everyone. It does have a little bit of a scent to it as well. It does feel very fresh, definitely not as strong as like a Dior foundation or anything like that. But if you are sensitive to scents, just a heads up. But I love the way it looks on my skin. It covers everything. It settles down beautifully. My skin can breathe under it, and it just stays put all day. I can't explain. Like, I mean, I have nothing else to say. It's so good. Now I want to talk about another natural finish foundation that I feel like I have an unpopular opinion on. It is the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Finish Liquid Foundation. I've seen people talk about how much they dislike this foundation, and it's just, it moves around on the skin, or it's too full coverage, or it just doesn't settle down well. And for me, this worked really well. This foundation is super highly concentrated. It is probably among, if not the most concentrated foundation that I have ever tried. A little tiny bit of this goes a really long way. It is sweat proof, waterproof, transfer resistant, like all those things. It has a blurring microspheres, very similar to the other products that I've talked about, that are going to blur the look of fine lines, create that soft focus filter like finish. And I will honestly use like a half pump, like maybe a little bit more than that, like that much, for my whole face. It just keeps going and going and going and going. It doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. It's going into my arm now, everyone. But I really loved how it looked on my skin. I really loved how it wore throughout the day. It looked really good by end of day. I don't know what to tell you. I'm genuinely curious if there's anyone else out there that likes this one as much as I do. Next up, let's talk about Laura Mercier. This is the Radiance Perfecting Foundation. I tested this out in a 5-star tested products from Sephora. 5-star rated products tested from Sephora, that's it. And honestly, it just made my skin look perfect. Like every pore was minimized, no fine lines were anywhere. It covered all of I have like these little spider veins on my skin that I've had since I was a kid. Like it covered everything. But it wasn't matte, it wasn't satin matte, it wasn't super glowy like we put glitter in this, but you won't know it until it dries down. I've seen those foundations. This one just gave a beautiful luminescence to the skin. It looked like you had very healthy skin, and it just dried down really nice. I've tried it with a bunch of different powders, a bunch of different primers. I've had a lot of success with this one, and I think it is fantastic. And I'll use a sponge. I don't have it here. My Stands Out Beauty Sponge, you know, my big like memory foam one, kind of like bouncing it into the skin, really pressing the product in, and it looks amazing. I think this is going to be one of those products that I'm going to be reaching for a lot this summer, because it's more medium coverage, and I tend to gravitate towards things that aren't as heavy during the summer months. And then another one that I didn't love that I tried recently, this is by Too Faced, and this is their Do You Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation. It's supposed to be infused with juicy watermelon and fresh cucumber. I feel like I'm ordering a salad. That'd be a good salad. This is supposed to be very hydrating, brightening. It has a lot of skincare ingredients in it. It's supposed to be really great if you have dry skin. My skin tends to, it changes with every season. I feel like my skin is just never one skin type. Is anyone else like that? And I feel like as of recently, I've been really gravitating towards products that have been more hydrating, because I find like finally companies are starting to distinguish between hydrating and moisturizing. Like hydrating to me is like hyaluronic acid. It's just going to infuse like water into your face, like that, the commercial, you know, when they splash themselves with water, you know, the thing that no one does. And then moisturizing, it's very thick, it's very nourishing. It's going to like soak into your skin, has lots of oils in it. It's just going to really treat dry skin. Mine is dehydrated. There is a difference. I saw hydrating and I was like, great, full coverage, love it. I like watermelons and cucumbers. Cool, let's put this on. It has a very strong like cucumber scent, which it sort of hit me in the face. I wasn't expecting how strong it was gonna be. I should have expected it, it's Too Faced. But the consistency is very thick. Like you can see that. It is holding every single ripple from when I like put it on my hand. Can you see that? Hopefully you can see that. So I put this on, I was like, great, my skin's gonna feel nice and nourished, and sometimes I need that in that sort of transition into spring and summer. But I found that it made my pores look like craters. I'm wearing it on my skin right now because I was like, no, you know what? We're gonna try it again. Just wanna make sure that I know where I stand on all these products. But no, just got a whole town of craters right in this part of my face. Also, it's breaking up around my nose. Didn't see that before. Maybe this works really well if you have very dry skin. I maybe misinterpreted the meaning of hydration here. So if you have really dry skin, this probably feels very nourishing and moisturizing. It'll feel really great on your skin. I just feel like sometimes if you try and get a very dewy complexion with a lot of full coverage, it can end up like balling up and just not sitting well on the skin. But I just didn't have a good experience from this product. Didn't sit well on my face, didn't love it. One more product I want to mention, just because I'm starting to test it and I really want to know what you guys think, is the Guerlain L'Essential Natural Glow 16-Hour Wear Foundation. Just started testing it, probably tested like twice now, not that much. But I've been liking how my skin has been looking when I've been wearing it, which is really exciting. The only thing is like, oh, the scent. I'm getting foundation like all over this pretty jar. Oh, I'm so sorry, Guerlain. This is supposed to last 16 hours on the skin. I haven't timed it. I have worn it all day and it's worn really well for me so far. It's gonna give more of a natural finish, definitely light coverage. So again, something that I would gravitate towards more in like spring, summer. Again, with that like lit from within, just healthy looking skin kind of look. I don't know. Again, I've only tested it 2 times, but I've been really liking it so far. So if you've also tested it, leave me a comment down below. I wanna know what you think. And also, while you're there, let me know what other foundations that you've been liking, ones that you've not been liking, ones that you're excited to test out. Leave me a comment down below. Make sure you check out these videos on the side in case you have missed any, and subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos every Thursday and also on Sunday. And that is everything. I hope you guys are having an awesome week, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Love you all. Mwah.